Halo has gone through a variety of live-action adaptations. Don't worry, this one will get its full video soon enough, but I wanted to take a crack at my favorite live-action take on the series, Halo Landfall, a series of short films directed by Neill Blomkamp and produced by Peter Jackson that ended up being used as promotion for Halo 3. It was Bungie's first foray into live-action Halo, adding up to only 7 minutes of footage, but boy oh boy does it completely deliver. Neill Blomkamp was set to direct a Halo movie, and these succulent 7 minutes was the test footage he presented to the studio. The film would have also been written by Alex Garland, who's written Ex Machina, 28 Days Later, and Dread. Holy shit, production was stacked! There's only a few images and minor footage of what he was planning on bringing to the screen. Unfortunately, due to studio politics, this hypothetical movie never got made, and Neill decided to focus his attention towards personal projects like District 9. Now, Halo Landfall follows the rule of cool to an extreme, from its documentary style of shooting to its outstanding props brought to us by the absolute underrated chads of the industry, fucking Weta Workshop. Weta created everything from the spike grenades, weapons, armor, and even an operational Warthog. Apparently Neill learned real quick why soldiers in the military wear helmets when he ripped off his ear whilst mounting the turret of the Warthog. It seems Neill was aiming for utter realism with his approach, being willing to adapt elements of the property like making changes to the Elite's mandibles to suit an anatomical standpoint, as well as changing or excluding certain weapons that just would not operate from a functionality standpoint, much like the MA5 assault rifle in favor of the battle rifle. But with that being said, let's get into Halo Landfall. So Landfall begins with a trailer called Arms Race, showing us an absolute glorious shot of a ship in the background. The ship is requesting armament before disembarking to take on the Covenant once more, and I love the style of the text. It's very reminiscent of Alien, not requiring any flashy font considering it's a military operation. We are then presented with some orgasmic shots of the UNSC's armory, as well as the preparation of ODSTs before entering the field. This weapon porn gets me fucking hard.
At first you had my curiosity, but now you have my erection.
And the CGI in this is so good, from the barrels being drilled into the snipers to the pelicans being lowered into the docking bay. It's extremely sleek and never takes you out of the immersion. I don't know how anyone will ever say this CGI looks bad when this fucking shit exists. I also really like the camera views of the Marines. Nothing's flashy nor high tech. There's no hub showing your weapon or ammo. It tells us that these Marines are cogs in a system, lacking any originality other than unique identifiers as individuals. And that was Arms Race. We then cut to a duo of ODSTs making their way to a package whilst being overseen by aerial thermal imaging, but the constant chatter of the comms is what sells that this is an active engagement zone. The comm chatter notifies the ODSTs that Banshees are in the area. We're then presented with our first look at the brutes, and considering this is only test footage, imagine how well they could have perfected it with budget and time. The ODSTs recover the package but are ambushed by the brutes. I'm personally conflicted on the way the spiker feels in this medium. I personally prefer the semi-auto take rather than the auto presented in Halo 3, and it allows the weapon to pack that much more of a punch in regards to recoil and strength required to wield it. However, there's some conflicting shots in this where it's presented as either full auto or semi. Yes, there are weapons that transition to both, which can be the case here. However, it's a bit odd we don't see any shots of the brutes using it as full auto rather than solely semi-auto. It could be argued it's shown in this medium as being a burst fire weapon. However, when we see the shot of the brutes firing, it sounds more like semi-auto rather than burst or full auto. Now, my theory is they were originally going to present the spiker as semi-auto. However, when it came down to showing the ODSTs under heavy fire, they resorted to switching the spiker to full auto like in the games. So the ODSTs request immediate evac but are given a Warthog to escape. That's not what I asked for! It's also kind of flizzing me why they throw the package in the back where it could easily fly out rather than prioritizing it by putting it in the passenger seat while one of them mans the turret. We then get our first shot ever of an operational Warthog. What are you fucking mad, lads? So the ODSTs are driving out of there when the passenger gets shot, and I love how the driver just tells him to suck it up. Dude, I need you alive, do not look into the light. And that's the end of part 1. Part 2 begins where we left off, with the ODSTs making their way to a medic to get the wounded ODST some help, and are notified that Master Chief's re-entry is underway, telling us that this takes place immediately before Halo 3. We then cut to a squad showing they're under heavy fire. One of the brutes throws a spike grenade, and I love how big it's presented in this. It's the size of a fucking club, taking a Marine's whole strength to throw. Holy shit, that's so fucking cool. However, when played back, it doesn't look like the grenade went very far, meaning that Banshee must be very tiny. I don't know, maybe it's a Grunt's personal Banshee, whatever. Nonetheless though, this can be fixed with budget, even if it still follows that good old-fashioned rule of cool. So the ODSTs arrive when another Phantom approaches. The able-bodied ODST grabs the sniper and tells them to hold out until Master Chief breaks through as he goes to the side and tries to pin the brutes down. I fucking love the sound effect of the sniper in this. It's so heavy and you can actually hear the round piercing the brutes. All seems to be going well, until... Holy shit, that's so fucking cool! So things keep going from bad to worse for our Marines. Mostly everyone's shot, the medic keeps having to run from person to person when the injured ODST opens the package, revealing it to be a targeting laser and uses it to scan Master Chief and where he'll land. The Marines are told to fall back as the Covenant closes in on them. They make it into the bunker when one of the Marines gives the Covenant a farewell package in the form of a rocket launcher signed to the Brute Chieftain. And that was Halo Landfall. We were on the verge of greatness. We were this close. These shorts aren't perfect. There's some recon footage that they definitely would not have. The ODSTs take a way more complicated way to get from point A to point B when they called for evac, and there's some minor inconsistencies in regards to how it relates to Halo 3. However, every flaw in this can be fixed with time and a budget. As far as test footage goes, this is undoubtedly one of the coolest and most impressive I've ever seen. It's an absolute crime we will never get this full vision brought to us. This series of shorts delivers some of the most mouth-watering, hardcore, and transformative takes of the UNSC and Covenant brought to us yet, and I will savor every second of it. You can literally see the passion bleeding off the screen. Its boots on the ground approach is fulfilling and enjoyable. Its grim and serious tone is immaculate, and this will carry on as one of the greatest what-ifs to plague filmmaking. What if this got made with the same team behind it? What if they got the big budget and full runtime treatment? What if Halo Landfall was realized as it was originally intended? It's sad to say, but we'll never know.